Well, to my friend Josette's twin turbo, it has a code 34 on the ECU. That's a knock sensor fault, and today we're going to be diagnosing that. So first of all, just to clarify, we're going to do the ECU test. So what you do is you stick your ignition on 2 turns, but don't start the engine, so you will get your lights on the dash. And then you go round to your passenger side footwell, pull the carpet back and take out this wooden panel. Yours will be bolted in, mine isn't. And then if you look down here, this here is your ECU. And on the side of the ECU, which you can't blooming see because it's dark, there's a little screw about here. What you need, well, you need a flat blade screwdriver, but I recommend just getting a flat blade drill bit because it's not very roomy down here. And you find this little screw here, which is very hard to find in the dark, and you turn it all the way clockwise, hold it for 3 seconds, then you turn it all the way back anti-clockwise, and then you can watch there's a little red LED on there, but that's a bit awkward to watch. So what you do, go back round to your dashboard, take a pew, and you'll see your engine management light there is flashing. Now you wait till it's done its flash like that. So what will happen is it will flash slowly. 1, 2, 3. That's 10, so that's 30. And then it's going to do 4 fast flashes. That's 4, so that's 34. And if you wait and it does it again and it just does the same code, that means you've got all your codes. If you've got more codes, it will go around all the codes until it's finished. If you get 55, 5 slow and 5 fast, that means you've got no faults. But obviously I've got a 34, which is a knock sensor fault. So to exit the test mode, all you do is just turn your ignition off, take your key out. Although code 34 is for the knock sensor, it doesn't necessarily mean the car is knocking. It actually means that the ECU cannot find the knock sensor. The knock sensor detects knocks and then it adjusts the timing in the ECU. So on a standard engine knock sensor, you're not going to get to it because it's right down the back. It's between the 2 heads and under here somewhere, right? So what you do is you find this connector on the top. This is the lube what goes down to the knock sensor. So we can disconnect that like so off camera, because it's a bit awkward to do on camera. And then what you've got here, that's the engine side, the ECU side, sorry. And then what you've got here, this is the engine side, which goes to the knock sensor. Now what you can do, if you've replaced your knock sensor, you can do a relocation, which you basically bolt the knock sensor to one of the planer bolts at the back, which is what's happened there, because you can't get down there. So basically, if you replace your knock sensor, you put a new loom on and you get a new sensor and you put it there, and you just leave the old one down there because you ain't going to get it, and it's not doing anything because it's not connected. So what you've got is obviously got this little mini loom now, which goes down here, and it's got a connector on here. Now on mine, this connector was corroded, really corroded, right? So I suspected that this loom is a bit on the dodgy side. So I cleaned it up with some switch cleaner, and I still got the code 34. However, when I do test this lead for continuality from this pin here up to the pin with the brownie wire on, because basically the black wire just goes to a shielding. There's a shielding all around there to stop interference, and the brown wire goes to the 1 pin on here. So only 1 pin connects to the knock sensor, and then one assumes that the knock sensor is basically earthing through the plenum. So what they say, to test your knock sensor, you put a multimeter on it and you test the resistance, I assume from the connected pin to an earth point, and you should get 1 megaohm, right? So basically I've tested that and I get 0. And I've tested it from that pin to that pin, even though that pin's not connected, I've got 0. And I've tested from the non-connected pin to the earth, I've got 0. And I've tested from the connected pin to basically the earth point on the knock sensor, and I've got 0. So one assumes that my knock sensor is kaput, and I assume that this lead is working, although it's not in good condition. So what I really need to do is get a brand new knock sensor and a new lead. However, what you can do to test that your ECU side is working, i.e. this side, is you could put a 1 mega ohm resistor between these 2 points here, and that will fool the ECU into thinking that you have a knock sensor connected. Obviously you're not monitoring for knock. In fact, what you can get from Concept Z in the States is a replacement for this connector, which connects into that one over there, and it actually has the 1 mega ohm resistor soldered in here, and it's all sealed up nicely and watertight, and it's only $15 US. However, because I'm in the UK, it'll cost me like $40 US shipping on top of that, so I don't want to do that just yet. So what we have over here is a 1 mega ohm resistor, and if you look on the side of it, it's got some little stripes, and these coloured stripes represent numbers, and you can use these with the resistor code to work out what size of resistor it is, but we don't want to give you that. No, what we've got here, we have got a multimeter, and we have set it to the 2 mega ohm, which is the next one up from 1 mega ohm, and we're going to put the 2 prongs on the resistor, one there, and if you can see the screen, that is measuring at 1 mega ohm. So that resistor is all good. So what we've done now is we've spent about an hour finding the 10mm spanner, and we've disconnected the battery terminal. What I've done is I've put the 1 mega ohm resistor into this connector between the 2 pins, so that is theoretically doing the same as the Concept Z adapter is doing, but it's just a little bit more bodgy. So reconnected the battery, and we are now going to reset the ECU. There are a couple of ways to reset the ECU. You can disconnect the battery, leave it off for about an hour, but you know, if you don't want to spend an hour doing that, what you could do is you can come round to your ECU and you can find what you've done with your screwdriver bit. There she is. And then what you do is you go back to your ECU, and as before, find the screw in the dart, turn it, 3 seconds wait, turn it back. Now let's put it into test mode, right? To clear the codes, turn it again, so elegantly, wait 3 seconds and turn it back. Now what that's done is it should have cleared the fault codes. So what we're now going to do is just turn the ignition off again, take the key out, put the key back in, put it back on ignition, and now we're going to put it into test mode again by putting our little screwdriver bit in. Turn it fully this way, 3 seconds, turn it all the way back. Now we are in test mode, so if we go back round here, so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 55, which is all clear, no fault codes. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start the car up. And we're going to go for a little test drive. So just got back from test drive, car's up to temperature now, everything's running as it should. So just gonna check, the resistor hasn't fell out. So back round at the ECU, we're gonna put this into test mode, turn it this way, wait 3 seconds, turn it back that way, and then we're gonna head on round to the dashboard. And we're hoping to get a 55, all clear. So I'll come back around here. So we'll count them. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So our code 34 has come back, so I still have a knock sensor fault. However, I have eliminated the knock sensor itself and the sub harness, and with the 1 mega ohm resistor connected in here, it can only be a fault between here and the ECU. So what I need to do in another video is to wire this between, I believe it's pin 23 on the ECU, and an earth, and hopefully that should clear the fault code, and then that means that there's a fault in this wire in here and I need to run a new cable all the way up here. So if you're lucky enough that that cleared your code 34 and it didn't come back, that means that your problem is going to be either your knock sensor or the sub harness. But if, like me, it still came back, that means your problem is between the ECU and where the sub harness connects to the wiring loom. Anyway, if you found this useful, please like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.